Busy season coming up. I know this team's going to list a lot of houses. There's a lot of you guys that are going to be doing open houses. You need a copy?
No, it's a copy that print out and put on the door.
Okay. We're going to talk a lot. I gave you guys the handout, and there's going to be some things that you're probably going to want to write to add a couple notes, because there's going to be some things. You're not going to do everything on this process, but the goal is to give you the tools, and you're going to end up essentially kind of customizing what you can do for open houses. But I want to talk about, like, with open houses, you want to have a purpose, right? What are you going to be doing? Why are you doing an open house? Are you farming a particular neighborhood that you're the local expert? Are you just doing open houses, throwing it in the schedule on a Saturday and Sunday for $1 million price point anywhere in the country? Because ultimately you're going to want to be prepared so that you can meet as many people as possible and drive as much traffic to your open house as possible. So first step on the paper, join Facebook group Open House ATX for Realtors. Join that group. You can put up there that you're doing open houses, zip codes, whatever it is. And you can also search the MLS, for properties. So, a lot of what you're going to do to prepare and actually host your open house is going to depend on what your purpose is. If you're going to be if you're hosting an open house and you're trying to get listings in the neighborhood, you're really going to want to have a lot of one-on-one conversations with people in that neighborhood and help understand how you might be able to help them list their home later. If you're going to go after buyer leads, it's going to be a little bit different marketing to get people to drive in your traffic than the questions that you ask while you're there. So how do you get the most attention to your database, or most attention to your open house? You're going to want to hit your database. So 5 days before, you need to choose a property. So don't wait till Thursday to say, I'm going to do an open house, because you're not going to give yourself enough time to prepare, and you're not going to give our marketing team enough time to prepare, because they're going to support you as well. Same thing if you have a listing and there's an outside agent that's going to do an open house. Maybe we don't have anyone available to do an open house for you. Put it up on that Facebook page. Let them know that Spyglass Marketing is going to co-market that with them and add them as a host. They love that. And it gets you a really good rapport with that agent, and ultimately you want good feedback from that agent for the seller as well. So there's a lot of partners, title reps, insurance agents, lenders that might partner up with you and provide resources, anything from cookies to flyers to booze, whatever it is. So put together a plan. Again, be prepared. Signage. So who in here intends on holding open houses like 2 or 3 a month? Let me see a show of hands, because signage is going to be important. 1 person, 2 people, 3, 4, 5 people are going to do open houses in here? Okay, 6, I'll do 1. So Spyglass has some open house signs. They're there, but I'll tell you, it's a major hassle if you don't have signs ready and you've got to drive around town, because it's going to be taking you away from all the most important things. So let's get together after the class, get with me, Sonny, or Ryan. Let's put together like in order, or there's quick prints. If you've never gone through that, maybe a good quick tutorial. It's easy, but let's make sure that we have inventory on signs, because they do go missing sometimes too.
If I could add something, I know some agents are also coming to me to design custom open house signs. Like if you want to take initiative to do that, that's also fantastic. I'll help you design it. I'll get them ordered for you or get quotes for you or whatever, if that's something that could expedite the process and help you streamline stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and start on that soon, because like February is a couple weeks away and more houses are going to hit the market. We're all going to be more busy. So you're going to email a request to Kelly in marketing at Spyglass Realty to start open house marketing. And they'll ask you for whatever they need to put that together. They'll create events on Facebook, Instagram, the whole gamut, whatever they're going to do. So, and also you're going to want to email your database, something huge. It's not even on this list. And you can literally, you could Google mega open houses and you can find all kinds of things. But we have BombBomb video inside of our follow-up boss. Huge. I think that's a huge attention grabber. Email your database is big. If you're doing an open house, say on like one of my listings, email your database, email my database, videos going out, you're gonna reach thousands of people just through that database and through that medium. So a few days before, you're gonna focus on going out into the neighborhood, at least 100 doors. You're gonna wanna put a flyer on, a door hanger, or even knock on the door and see if somebody's there to talk to. Find out if they're going to be listing to sell their home, or if they have a friend or family member that wants to move into the neighborhood. On the bottom of the back page, there's some questions, and some of these things that I'm saying are on there, so you guys can have some simple questions to ask, uncover some information from these people that you're talking to. And then social media, you're going to do, so Spyglass is going to do their social media for you guys, create an event on Facebook, post it up on Instagram, live videos. If you're out there in the neighborhood 3 days beforehand, you can do live videos, incorporate that, tell the story, build up the attention leading into the weekend if it's the weekend open house. If it's your neighborhood, try to get as much neighborhood involvement from the owners, because you might not be if it's someone else's neighborhood that you're not living in, have the owners post it next door. If it's your neighborhood, post it, put a link, the Spyglass page or something up there, the house is coming up. And have the owners post your link, our link, whatever, our event, so that your name is out there and the owner is broadcasting their home for sale as well.
Let me just piggyback on that for a second.
Yeah.
So like what we do with every one of your listings is, there are 4 processes of 4 stages of listing: coming soon, just listed, under contract, and just sold. And Steve reminded me that there's a 5th process called open house, right? What I think is so beautiful about getting the homeowner, like when you submit a listing to us, we retarget. You don't have to do anything. We're going to retarget every stage of that listing, and if a homeowner shares that on Facebook, and those people go to that page, they're going to see they're going to see our listings being retargeted to them. So they'll see the house in your neighborhood with your face and your name, and it's just more exposure for you.
Also, if it's your neighborhood and you really know the community activities that are going on, whether it's weekdays or weekends, and there's a big event or events, if it's baseball season, soccer season, whatever season it is, and maybe there's games on Friday nights, think about doing open houses at other times other than just Saturday and Sunday from 12 to 4. Because that might not be the most traffic attention time for that particular house, or maybe it's a little bit later in the afternoon if it's soccer all day long. I had an open house down at Onion Creek, because fields are right there. Maybe it's a little bit later open house, or during the week if there's a vacant house or somewhere that you can host twilight open houses for 2 hours, you can actually get work done. You've got your signs in the neighborhood for 2 days in a row between 5 and 7, or during the summer. Beat the heat, come in and grab a cocktail or something after work. Mimosas, I've seen them. I've even seen some on the golf courses where they're promoting during a tournament. I mentioned this to some of you guys, like feeding people into an open house from the golf tournaments. So there's a lot of things you can do. It's what's going to be best, what's your overall purpose, what's your game plan, so you can put together a really good course of action on that. So then the day of, we've got a little video. Do we have the video ready to go? So we're going to run Ryan's video. You guys have probably seen this a little bit. Some of you guys. We'll give this a minute.
Oh man, I don't know. Facebook is sharing. You think you can find the YouTube video of it on Sonny's computer?
Yeah.
We'll come back to this in a minute too. I'll keep going because there's more things that you can do. For the house, run comps. Be prepared with flyers at the door or flyers inside. Run comps so you can educate your visitors on what the comps in the area, the comps for this house, as well as other active listings. Because if they're a buyer, maybe they haven't been actively searching very much, and you can say, hey, you know what? There's a few other homes that are available around here. Maybe we can get together tomorrow or after the open house. I can show a couple of them to you. But then really this stuff is all preparation to get you ready. And then I like that the 5th process is the open house, because we've got a process for that. It's a mini process that some of it's on here, which is the site that we use for our leads and our people that are connecting with us, that's retargeting them with listings. So you'll set up your tablet or your computer with the site and with the MLS number, and it automatically, what you're going to do is you're going to have a sign on the front door. It says everybody's to sign in, and you're going to see a video about this in a minute. Another sign by the computer that says please sign in here, and they're going to go into the computer or the iPad and they're going to sign in. It's going to go automatically go into the site. Follow-up boss is going to get triggered. You're going to have a lead come into your name, and it's going to set them up on an auto property search specific to the criteria for that particular house, right?
We've got it right here, I think.
Thank you, Spyglass Realty. And today I'm going to show you how
Cool.
we do open houses at Spyglass Realty and collect leads and turn them into buyers. So first, what we did is we did a registration page, forced registration page on our site and promoted it through Facebook. And we're going to take you through all the steps today. So then before the open house, we'll put these directional street signs on the corner of every street leading to the house. We also, sometimes we'll put those signs out and then drop a little hanger here that says open Saturday and Sunday, 1 to 3 or 1 to 4 or whatever it is, and then leave the open house signs all weekend. Okay, the next step is to put this sign out. It says, the owner has asked for a record of all visitors. Please register on the iPad in the kitchen. If you're a realtor previewing or showing clients during the open house, please show the lockbox. So what this does is it sets the stage that we've been asked to collect information on who's coming into the house, right? So, you know, by doing this, it doesn't quite do it for you, meaning you have to ask them to sign in, but we already set the expectation, which is great. And, you know, I have found that with this up, I've never had anyone refuse to sign in. They always put something in there. Then we put this landing page up, and this is an open house landing page that we have made. The cool thing about this is when they sign in, it goes into our Follow Boss. And the other thing it does, Follow Boss is our CRM that we use. The other thing it does is that it triggers our IDX system, our property search, to send them listings in the area based on the listing they looked at.
So,
in other words,
you guys have probably all seen this
area,
before,
right?
but I think, you know, when we started putting those notices on the door, that really, I mean, when I'm looking at the window and I see people stop and like reading it, right? And obviously, like, we don't give a fuck if someone is going to like trigger the lockbox. We're just putting that in there so that they know that like we're not just lying to them about, you know, the owner asking for a record. Like we want everyone to register. Now, some cases it is the owner, right? But again, we're setting the expectation that we want you to sign in. And this is important for a lot of reasons. The main reason is for us to collect information and leads, okay? But it's also like a safety thing. You want a record of everyone that comes in the house. Like I've had a client, not with me, but I had a client that we sold a house to, and the previous time she sold the house, her husband died like 3 months before, and someone came in and stole her wedding ring, right? So, you know, just having a good record of it, and like, not that they won't steal it anyway or lie, but it also prevents that type of action. And like everything that Johnny is talking about, like, you know, we can half-ass anything, right? But like this is the process to be successful. Open houses are an opportunity for you to collect leads, for you to show your expertise, and for you to get your name out there. So I'll let you kind of continue on there, but one more thing about this is, you know, people talk about mindset all the time, and I don't try to get too deep into mindset of, you know, your monthly or daily, you know, affirmations or anything like that. But you have to have a mindset when you're going into an open house that like you're there for a reason. Like charisma can be taught, okay? Like you can do simple things. You can look someone in the eye, you can shake their hand, you can be genuinely interested, okay? Open houses are on weekends, right? Like, believe it or not, I try not to get drunk before an open house because, like, if you've ever gone to an open house and you're like hungover, it doesn't go as well. Tim's laughing, you know what I'm talking about. So, you know, all these things contribute, and I'll let you finish up here and go to here.
Yeah, no, it's good. Yeah, because mine sits with preparation. Because I know, like, for a long time, I had a love-hate relationship with open houses. And actually, when I first started with Spyglass, if you asked me if I did open houses, I was like, no, I don't. Why? Because I didn't do enough to prepare. So I would even go on a listing appointment. Yeah, we talk about the coming soon. We'll do an open house. I'm like, oh gosh, I really don't want to do an open house at this house. Like, I'd rather be doing something else because I didn't want to collect leads for that particular area. So I kind of half-assed it, and then I'll go through my Thursday, my Friday, my Saturday, my weekend. I've spent all these hours. I had 5 people show up. It's like major killer for burnout. If you think, like, you already have enough things to do in your business and you're going to half-ass do an open house, like, do these things, do enough of them to set yourself up for success, and you're going to enjoy your time at the open house and greeting people, So, but the people that you meet, like, if you're doing an open house, there's 5 or 6 people there, it's going to be kind of easy to have a little bit more conversations with them. But sometimes you're going to do an open house, there's 15 or 20 people there. What's going to be real important is take some notes, have your notepad, because you're going to see these people in your database, and they're going to come back to the site, and they're going to be looking at houses, and you're going to see Joe Smith, like, I know I met him at the open house, but I don't remember anything about him. Maybe he's working with a realtor, maybe not. Maybe they had the kids that were running around. Like, there's going to be some things that you're going to want to key on that you can talk about later that's going to help the rapport. Because open houses, I know I could ask, there's probably a testament from a lot of you guys that you've had a lot of success from open houses. The rapport is incredible. It's so much better than on the phone cold calling or even calling through hot leads. Like, the rapport is there. So you're going to want to remember how to tap into those really good rapport builders that you met, that you found during that open house. Because ultimately the magic is in the follow-up. You're there to do an open house, 30 people could come in, 30 buyers could send you an offer, none of them are yours, right? Which is fine because you're selling the house, but it's not your buyer. Maybe you got some buyer leads. But following up with those people is where you're gonna make your money. And setting up maybe your own action plan, bomb videos that go out to them, thanking them for coming to the open house, find out if they're interested in making an offer on the house. Maybe you've asked a couple questions to help uncover some other objections that you've already talked about or that you already covered, and you can mention those in the video, as well as ask them if there's any other homes that are available or they're still interested in buying a home in the area. So again, you want to have some notes so that you can remember. You can personalize some bomb videos or just blast a generic one out to everybody. Maybe do both.
Yeah, well, one note is that, like, they say that, the average lead is converted after 11 touches, right? Mm-hmm. You've got, this is a touch, right? And when I say a touch, it's either a phone call or it's an attempt of contact, right? I don't consider email an attempt of contact, but I would consider a bomb video or just a quick, 30-second video on your phone that you text to them. You're wanting to get to know them. They want to get to know you, so the conversion is easier. So, the follow-up is really, really important when it comes to converting an open house lead. And one of the reasons we're talking about this is because, we're doing our professional development meetings with you guys, and there's a lot of open house conversions.
Mm-hmm. It's all on y'all's radar for doing open houses. So, on the backside, so if you've never been to the house, it's someone else's listing, you might want to go over there first because it might smell funky. There might be some nuances that you didn't know from looking at pictures. So light a candle, bring air freshener or something if you need to. Make sure the home has toilet paper. Do a live video. You can do a live video before and after. So even after you do that little video Ryan was just saying from your cell phone, that could be the one that you're thanking people. You don't even have to go home and sit in front of your computer and do a whole fancy video. Just like, hey, thanks for coming. It was nice meeting you, and ask them the same questions. I'm going to be in the neighborhood looking at some houses. Let me know if you want to meet up and take a look at some other houses. Feedback to the listing agent, feedback to the owners, feedback to Ryan and Sunny if it's one of their clients. Is going to be really important in a timely manner. Within a couple hours after the open house, you can get some type of feedback over to the owners of the listing agent that, whether there was 0 people or 3 to 5 or 10 to 20, some had realtors, some are just neighbors or looky-loos. But there's a few questions on the bottom here we'll jump to help you get a little bit of information for feedback. It's really uncomfortable to hold an open house and not have much notes, and then the listing agent or the seller is like, hey, how did it go? And you're like, oh, like, it was crazy, or it was, I don't remember a lot of the stuff that happened, you know, so feedback's gonna be very important. There's also, we've got procedures for canceling, because depending on canceling an open house, things come up. If it's your open house at your listing and you've got communication with the sellers, then you're going to communicate with them directly. Let them know as quickly as possible. Put a post up on Workplace. Find out if there's anyone else that might be able to cover for you. Put a post up on the the open house group. Bless you, Sonny. Because if it's someone else's listing, let the listing agent know right away. Let Ryan and Sonny know right away. Things escalate quickly if we don't get the word spread out quick enough to cancel an open house, because they have rearranged their weekend. You have pent up this demand, if you've done all these things throughout the week, their signs, it's a big deal if you cancel an open house if you've done these things, right? You'd rather a warm body sitting there for you, not even talking to anybody, if you've done all this work. They're gonna sign up, you can just have someone meet and greet, and you can still collect information and follow up with people. So some questions to ask in an open house, to open up a conversation, greet everybody and ask them, find out how they heard about your open house. Did they see the signs? Was it Zillow? A lot of people say Zillow right now, Realtor.com. Some people still recommend putting ads on or putting a post up on Craigslist. Did you hear about it on the Neighborhood or Nextdoor app? How long have you been looking for a home to purchase? Do you currently live in this neighborhood? If they live in the neighborhood, do they have any friends that want to move in this neighborhood? If they have kids, ask if their kids go to the school here. That's going to be important. Schools are huge if their kids are, elementary or junior high age. That's really big, so you know that they're interested in that neighborhood. Are you trying to purchase a home now and move in the next 30 to 45 days? You can ask that all the time. Are you trying to purchase a home now? Someone walks in the door, they like the house. Hey, are you trying to buy a home now? If it's not this house, I can show you some others and I can help you. How long have you been going to open houses? How many open houses have you been to? They're already going to answer whether or not they're working with a realtor on the site when they sign in. Is this the only neighborhood you want to move to? And what are you waiting for to happen before you get serious about buying a new house and moving? So those are some questions to ask when you're at the open house to get conversations started and kind of get them talking. I think, let's see. That's everything I got. Your question? Two things?
Not two things.
Oh.
Can I make a couple of
Yeah.
additions to that?
Yes.
You hit on, and Ryan's been very successful with it, but we've all, I think, the approach to open houses is we're going to get a buyer. You're actually auditioning for sellers, and you got to think of it that way. There's a KW agent in Oregon who's built a massive business off of open houses only, and just going in there with, I don't care about the buyer leads, I'll pass it to people on the team, but go in there for sellers. You're looking, it's how you show up. I think the idea of previewing the property, I'd suggest doing that 2 days earlier and then looking at all the other homes that happen to be for sale in the neighborhood. And when you're putting signs out, you're often going to put a sign, or you're going to want to put a sign on a house, on a corner with a house. Knock on the door and do that the day before or 2 days before. Introduce yourself, ask them for their phone number and email address, and just say, hey, I just want to make sure, if I hold this open again, I want to get your permission to put this sign on your front yard. Can I call you in the future? If they say no, you go across the street. Or you go somewhere else. No one says no. Well, one guy I've ever had say
I've
no.
had a couple say no.
Right.
You know what I started doing, especially like in my neighborhood where in Barton Hills, I'm trying to establish relationships. I drop off a note and a t-shirt and a sign if they're not there to say, if you want me to pick it up, just let me know. If this is the wrong t-shirt size, let me know and I'll get
Oh,
you
wow.
another one.
I do that. I have a note.
That's awesome.
That says, here's what it is, and then
Yeah.
just call me if you don't want me to put my sign here, and then rarely does that happen. But I've had a lot of people call and thank on it. But those are simple things.
Well, let me rephrase. I've had one person say no, and then I've had one person earlier on that I didn't ask, and they dropped off the open house sign at the open house.
Oh,
Wow,
nice.
that's nice they didn't take it.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
last thing is, if there's a for sale by owner in the neighborhood, call them up and just use this as an opportunity. If someone walks through my open house and the house is not a fit for them, your house might be, and I'd like to get to know it. And that's a chance to go in there and establish a relationship
Oh, yeah.
with them as well.
Great.
That's a
And
great
maybe
idea.
pick that business up.
Oh, that's really good.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Insight.
John, can I take 2 minutes for a shameless plug?
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm Chris Afanito. I'm the owner of Urban ATX Development. I'm a lot of new faces here today. I don't come to this office too often. I have my own office down the street, but we're building about 20 houses in the zip code right now. And got 7 or 8 of them on the market, and trying to hold open houses all the time. And just wanted to connect a couple of the dots that were going through my head when listening to Johnny and Ryan talk. And one of them is, what is the goal that you're trying to accomplish by holding an open house? Right? You're collecting leads and you're building rapport. You're not trying to sell the house that you're sitting in, because that happens as often as lightning strike, right? And so, as a homeowner or as a developer, why do I want you to hold open houses? Or why would I allow you to hold open houses? And for most people, it's the homeowners believe that it's going to really help them sell that house, and maybe it does. But like I said, the goal here is to build rapport with leads that you collect and sell them what they're looking for. Because again, what are the chances of that particular house that an unrepresented buyer walks into is going to be the one for them? And so what we've been trying to accomplish at Urban ATX is build a small army of agents that get very, very familiar with all of our products. Because we build nice houses and people generally have good things to say about them. They like our design. But again, the chances of walking into one of our houses and saying, this is the one, is really slim. And so what we're trying to do in building this army is have these agents be knowledgeable about what we have on the market, because this house might be perfect for them if the master is on the main. And so we want them to know, okay, that's great because I've got one where the master's on the main floor down the street. And we want to be able to say to the buyers and say, okay, well, I'm not ready to buy yet. I'm really ready to buy in 6 months. So, well, I sure hope this house is off the market in 6 months, but, I'll have another one for you ready about that. And to the buyers that say we want to really kind of want to build from the ground up. Well, great, take a look through this house, and if you like what you're seeing, I can put you in touch with the developer and have them build you your dream house, right?
Yeah, that's a great tip. I mean, I think John used that too with like, not an open house sense, but like someone was interested in a $2 million lead over here. We talk a lot about like lead conversion and, what are our feature benefit tie downs, and like one of them is that we have access to off market properties. Didn't you line up several of Chris's coming soons?
I don't think so.
No? Okay, maybe it's somebody else. But anyway, that's
I've done a lot.
That's a great hook.
It was Johnny. Sorry, John.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so like, if you're doing an open house, like at Chris's, and Chris has, 20 houses that are coming online in that 6 months, that's a conversation starter. Well, like, I guess what? If you're non-represented and you're open to working with me, and he got a buyer's rep signed before he showed the houses. Like, that's beautiful.
Hopefully by the end of the 6-week program, that will be happening all the time.
Right?
That's
Yeah.
the goals.
And so, these people are going to 5 other open houses that day, right? And you'll be the only agent that can offer them a dozen off-market listings,
Yeah.
right? And so, anyway, I'm trying to build that in-house where y'all are trained on my stuff rather than having agents from Keller Williams and everywhere else hold my houses open, right? I think it's a better look, it's a more cohesive look. Obviously, I'd like you all to have the benefit of all that before the next random Keller Williams agent. So if you are interested in holding open houses, if you want to try mine, email Morgan, because she is running that show for me at this point, and she will get you guys set up. Morgan at Spyglass Realty.
Very cool. A letter, I created this a while back actually, that says like, hey, it's John McCarthy from Spyglass, and I'm doing an open house at this address at this particular day and time. I went ahead and put a sign in your yard if you don't mind. If you don't want it here, no problem. Just shoot me a message. Let me know. Just don't take it. Right? Please just leave it for me or something. I don't know. We'll share it, and you guys can make it your own. But then also, and I had this old briefcase work bag thing, and I'm throwing together like my open house go bag, because there's things that you're going to need, like Scotch tape. I never have Scotch tape. And I don't want to go digging through an owner's house and drawers trying to find Scotch tape to put a sign on a door, right? Like there's little things. So a hammer, put signs in the yard or something. Gloves, like Clorox wipes, things like a towel, maybe a broom, something. So if you visit the house beforehand, you're going to know there might be something you need to provide to make yourself even more prepared. Bring cookies, whatever. So does anybody have any other questions or feedback on open houses? Any feedback from Kelly on open houses? You get requests for help, open house stuff?
I mean, I think more than anything, the being prepared and have your market where you don't just show up, but be ready.
Yeah.
People do open houses either really good or really bad.
Yep.
The ones that do it good really thrive with it and walk away with it.
Yep. So farming and the Genie and Kelly and these open houses, like your open houses should be a hit every time. They should be.
So with that, I think we're going to segue to then. Let me get the microphone.